In the midst of northern Europe, where icy winds swept across rugged coastlines and dense forests, a culture of seafarers emerged who would shape the course of history for centuries. They were the Vikings, explorers, warriors, traders, and settlers. But who were they really? Let us step back to the late 8th century. The world knew little of Scandinavia, just a land of scattered tribes beyond the reach of the Roman Empire. But from the fjords of Norway, the forests of Sweden, and the plains of Denmark, the Norse people began to look outward. With sleek, dragon-headed longships, they cut through the cold seas and launched an era of exploration, conquest, and cultural exchange. It began in 793 with the infamous raid on the Lindisfarne Monastery in England. The attack shocked the Christian world, monks were slaughtered, treasures stolen, and the term Viking would forever be associated with terror. But that was only the beginning. For nearly 300 years, Viking longships appeared like ghosts on distant shores. They raided the coasts of Britain, Ireland, and France. They sailed down the rivers of Eastern Europe, founding trade routes that stretched to the Byzantine Empire. Some even crossed the Atlantic, reaching Iceland, Greenland, and perhaps even North America, centuries before Columbus. But to call them mere raiders would be a mistake. The Vikings were also skilled traders and settlers. In places like Dublin, York, and Kiev, they built thriving towns. They exchanged goods like amber, furs, and iron for silver, silk, and spices. They carried not only swords but stories, sagas of gods and heroes, written later in the haunting language of Old Norse. Their mythology was rich and vivid. They believed in Odin, the All-Father, Thor, the thunder god, and Loki, the trickster. They imagined a cosmos bound by Yggdrasil, the world tree, and awaited the end of days, Ragnarok, when gods and giants would clash in a final battle. Viking society was complex. It had chieftains, warriors, farmers, craftsmen, and even poets called skalds. Women, though living in a patriarchal world, could own land, inherit property, and in some cases, lead. The Vikings valued honor, loyalty, and reputation. To die in battle was glorious, to feast forever in Valhalla. But what drove them to leave home? Partly it was overpopulation in the search for arable land. Partly it was ambition and adventure. And partly it was the internal power struggles that made exile or conquest more appealing than staying behind. As they settled, the Vikings changed and were changed. In Normandy, the Norsemen became the Normans. In England, Viking rulers mixed with Anglo-Saxons. In the East, the Rus Vikings helped lay the foundations of Russia. Eventually, Christianity spread across Scandinavia, and with it, the Viking Age faded. By the 11th century, their raids had slowed. Kingdoms grew stronger. Trade became more regulated, and the Norse warriors who once struck fear across Europe began to blend into the societies they once invaded. Today, the image of the Viking remains fierce, fearless, wild. But the truth is deeper. They were creators and destroyers, dreamers and doers. They were men and women of the North who, for a moment in time, touched nearly every corner of the known world. That is the story of the Vikings. Thank you for listening to Explained Under 5 Minutes. If this episode helped you find a little more clarity, consider subscribing and sharing with someone who could use it too. Until next time, stay strong, stay present, and stay curious.